first, I want you guys to have like a South Indian phrase face-off. How would you greet each other in your trademark style?
Hey, namaskara guru, chennagidya.
Vanakkam, we need this.
நல்லா இருக்கறியா? நீ எங்க இருக்கற மாமா?
ஏய் எல்லாம் மஸ்தா இருக்கு மாமா, நீ எப்படி இருக்கற?
ஏய் நானும் நல்லா இருக்கேன் மாமா. என்ன ஒரு ஜாக்கெட் எல்லாம் போட்டு வீட்ல பாத்து.
ரெண்டு பேரும் வீட்ல குடிச்சிட்டு உட்கார்ந்துட்டு இருக்காங்க ரெண்டு பேரு. லைஃப் ஏத்திட்டு இருக்காங்க ரெண்டு பசங்களும். That's what I would say.
This can just go on. It's a conversation in itself. But, you know, I really want to ask you guys, y'all have very intelligently mined South Indian content, Bangalore specifically, to make such incredible humor. How did you guys know there was enough meat here in the first place?
We knew what?
Danish.
Danish, go for it. Danny, it's intelligent. You go for it.
I think the most important thing to realize is that Bengaluru as a city is one of the most metropolitan cities around the country. And the fact that it's got its own microculture and then it's got such a culture that's influenced. So you have people from different parts of the country here. And within Bengaluru itself, you have pockets. Like you go to East Bangalore, you have like people with different accents, different dialects, different languages. You go to like a South Bengaluru, there's the more traditional, older families of Bengaluru live there. You go to Central Bengaluru, there's different people there. So I think the fortunate thing about going to schools in this city or growing up in this city is the exposure that all of us have had. And I'm sure not just me, but everybody else here as well would like to thank our parents for giving us that kind of exposure. Because little did we know that the people we'd probably be making fun of, or the teacher that we'd be imitating, or that one classmate that we would sit down and speak with or visit his family, that it would all come back together many years later. So I think Bengaluru as a city has so much to offer, and we're not just, it's not a Bombay that, thrives on Marathi at one end and then there's Hindi at the other end and then there's English. It's not just that. An average person from the city, I think, can speak about 6 languages or 5. I think that's what makes us who we are.
I love how scientific Danish always is about his comedy. What about the rest of you guys? Did you know that you were mining something that had so much potential?
No, I think I was very incidental. It came, I don't know, especially because I also know Hindi, I also know Tamil, which is more of an influence than a Bangalore. But in Bangalore is when I kind of realized that all languages sort of merge together somewhere. Mm-hmm. And the fact that knowing different cultures is an edge over the other. This is something I don't think we knew as we grew up. We were sort of, especially I was up north where being a South Indian was slightly like, oh, tu Madrasi, I hate to say it, but that is a stereotype. So we came, at least I came on my own when I was in Bangalore, where I'm like, oh, okay, knowing different languages is a thing. It's something that you have to hold on to and make sure you express. And even now, constantly when we're pitching shows or, people are constantly like, oh, I hope it's a Hindi show. In my head, I say, yeah, it's a Hindi show. Fuck no, I'm totally putting a Tamil or a Kannada or a Telugu because there is no light of what, there is a huge audience there that is watching our content and it's a disservice to them. So why should I root my character in a space which is away from people who are backing me? So I think for me, it's a second half rather than first half where I'm like, oh, it's a good thing. Hold on to it.
How do you guys decide that a word will work across geography? Like Niharika, you used the word jollu in a video that was liked by Hrithik Roshan. I mean, who would have thunk, or does he even know what it means? So how do you guys decide what is okay and maybe not too alienating?
Look, see, I really want to say something intelligent because they all said something really cool. But the last 2 months have been a blur for me. I don't know what happened. I don't know why people are watching my videos at this rate. I've been around for a while, but the last 2 months, it's like they're calling me a Gen Z creator, which I am, but I feel like I've been around for a while, but suddenly they've discovered me. And now I'm just like, oh, like, I don't know how to act, like they're grouping me with these kids now. And I'm like, they're closer to my age, but I've been around with people who are older. Now I don't know how to act. And I don't know what words I use anymore. I know so many languages. I mix them all up. And after one point, I don't know what language I'm speaking. It's just, I do not know what's happening. I love everything that they said, but right now, I don't know what's happening. I'm learning from them right now. I'm like, oh, is that what happened with me?
Is this another video?
What?
Oh my God,
Is
exactly.
this
what I was
another
thinking.
reel that you're making right now?
No, I
Recording on the side.
Also, what did you mean by older?
Excuse me.
What did you
How
mean
dare
by
you?
older?
How dare
Who are
you?
these older
Wait,
people
sorry.
you speak of?
Vineet, when you found out how old I was, you took 2 days to digest it. When you
That's
made
true.
me play your mom, and then you're like, "Wait, how old are you?"
That had
actually?
nothing to do with
I'm
your age.
23.
It had to do with our age.
How old are you, Niharika? I'm sorry if you don't mind me.
I'm 23.
You're 20. What? Please, I'm leaving this call.
What? See, I'm offended now. See, Vineet and Nas made me the mom character since I was like 21. Now everybody thinks I'm like 40, and I'm like, I've been
No.
20 when I
Niharika,
played
it's
schools.
not for the mom character. It's your confidence that's pissing me off.
It's-
At 23, I had minus confidence. Ask Danish. He knew me then.
Yeah. I've known all of you since you all were all in your 20s.
But guys, when the borders are blurring, do like Sumukhi, you've started speaking some pretty awesome Hindi and as well. Do you find the need to cater to the audience that you've now reached out to, like throw in some northeast stuff?
But I was also raised in Nagpur, no? So like, that's why Hindi comes more naturally. But can I tell you, it's very sweet that the stand-up audience or even the Pushpavali audience is very an audience that even if it's a Hindi is expected to understand what I'm speaking in Tamil. I'm very demanding like that even on stage. When I'm like, I'm speaking Tamil, do you understand a mother's emotion? Then fucking get it. Why behaving like if as a South Indian, did I not learn Hindi? You don't have to learn the language, but as long as you learn the emotion, and that way audience is very receptive, yeah, that way. Especially put them in a room, they're very like, ha, chalo, chillao mat, hum kar lenge. But you know, it's also all of us are training our audience to respond a certain way. I know that everybody in this panel is very like, we will tell you where to laugh, don't worry. You don't have to go through that. So there is no pandering at all, in fact, in this space. It's very like, whatever we say, you have to get on with it.